Disaster after disaster, America faces another catastrophe after battling devastating wildfires, widespread flooding, and deadly landslides. The United States is once again on the brink of another natural disaster, one of historic proportions. Relentless snowfall blankets the country, temperatures plummet to extreme lows, and major cities are transformed into frozen landscapes. This is the most powerful blizzard in recorded history, a chilling reminder of nature's unstoppable force. First, Winter Storm 2025. In January 2025, a massive winter storm swept across the United States, impacting 25 states from Texas to the Mid-Atlantic. Over 100 million people faced heavy snowfall, extreme cold, and powerful winds that disrupted daily life. The storm lasted more than 2 weeks, dumping over 30 inches of snow in some areas and plunging temperatures to minus 30 degrees Celsius in the Midwest. Before the storm, many regions were already dealing with severe weather, including flooding and smaller storms. As snow fell, chaos unfolded, thousands of flights were canceled, power outages hit 330,000 homes, and major highways shut down. After the storm, freezing temperatures worsened conditions, leading to icy roads, traffic accidents, and prolonged power and food shortages. At least 14 people lost their lives, while thousands suffered hypothermia and injuries. Transportation was paralyzed, with stranded vehicles and disrupted rail services. The economic toll is estimated at $14 to $17 billion, covering infrastructure damage, business losses, and recovery costs. This storm highlights the growing impact of climate change, with extreme weather events becoming more frequent and severe across the country. Second Buffalo Blizzard 2022. In December 2022, Buffalo, New York, was devastated by a powerful blizzard that lasted 4 days, intensified by lake-effect snowfall that drastically increased accumulation. Fierce winds reaching 79 miles per hour battered the city, creating a relentless 37-hour whiteout. A staggering 77 inches of snow-buried streets blocked access to homes and brought transportation and communication to a standstill. More than 100,000 residents lost power, while emergency services were completely overwhelmed and unable to respond. Despite early weather warnings, many underestimated the storm's severity. When it struck, Buffalo was instantly frozen in place, trapped beneath an icy fortress. Buffalo Niagara International Airport was forced to close for 6 days. Hundreds of vehicles were abandoned on highways, and city officials announced that emergency responders could not reach those in need. Dubbed the Blizzard of the Century, the storm claimed 27 lives in Buffalo alone, with a total of 63 deaths across the United States. Power outages stretched from Maine to Washington. Nearly 2,900 flights were canceled, and rescue efforts were severely hindered by towering snowdrifts as high as 2.4 meters. This became one of the deadliest winter disasters in U.S. history. Three, China's 2008 winter storm. In January 2008, a devastating winter storm struck central and southern China, marking the country's worst winter disaster in half a century. Over 4 consecutive waves, the storm battered 8 provinces, crippling transportation, power grids, and water supplies. Major cities, including Guangzhou, ground to a halt, while more than 150,000 passengers were stranded at train stations, desperately waiting to return home for the Lunar New Year holiday. The storm began on January 10th, bringing extreme cold and relentless snowfall that caused roofs to collapse and thousands of vehicles to be buried along highways. At least 129 people lost their lives, many in bus accidents amid treacherous conditions. Infrastructure suffered catastrophic damage. 223,000 homes were destroyed, 862,000 were severely damaged, and power outages spread across 17 provinces. In Chenzhou, residents endured 2 full weeks without electricity or running water. The agricultural sector was also hit hard, with 870,000 pigs and hundreds of thousands of other livestock perishing. Additionally, 7.5 million hectares of forest were devastated. Economic losses soared into the billions, making this one of the most catastrophic winter storms in China's history, with consequences that could have been even worse without swift emergency response efforts. Afghanistan blizzard 2008. In February 2008, Afghanistan was hit by the deadliest blizzard in its history, with temperatures plunging to -30 degrees Celsius and snowfall reaching 1.8 meters. The storm paralyzed provinces across the country, especially in western regions like Herat and Badghis. Mountainous villages were completely cut off, leaving thousands of residents trapped without food or fuel. The blizzard lasted for weeks, claiming more than 926 lives, most due to hypothermia. Hundreds more suffered severe frostbite, with many requiring amputations. The heavy snowfall caused over 833 homes to collapse, while blocked roads made rescue efforts nearly impossible and delayed the distribution of critical aid. The crisis also devastated Afghanistan's livestock industry, a vital source of livelihood for many communities. More than 316,000 animals, including sheep, goats, and cattle, perished in the extreme cold. Humanitarian organizations and foreign forces worked tirelessly to deliver blankets, food, and fuel to the affected areas, but the scale of the disaster made recovery a long and difficult process. 5. The 1993 Nor'easter, the storm of the century. In March 1993, a historic winter storm, famously dubbed the Storm of the Century, swept across the eastern United States, causing chaos from the Gulf of Mexico to Canada. The storm formed over the Gulf on March 12th before moving inland, unleashing heavy snowfall, hurricane-force winds, and record-breaking cold temperatures across multiple states. Snowfall reached an astonishing 56 inches on Mount LeConte in Tennessee, while North Carolina saw drifts as high as 15 feet. Even the Deep South, including Alabama and Georgia, experienced rare and significant snowfall. In Florida, the storm brought massive waves and tornadoes, destroying homes and claiming dozens of lives. Lasting 3 days, the blizzard knocked out power to more than 10 million households and paralyzed both air and ground transportation. Thousands of flights were canceled, highways were buried under snow, and over 40% of the U.S. population was affected. In total, 318 people lost their lives, and the storm caused an estimated $5.5 billion in economic damage. With its immense scale and devastating impact, this remains one of the most severe winter weather disasters in modern history. Six, Iran. Blizzard 1972. In February 1972, Iran was struck by the deadliest blizzard ever recorded. For nearly a week, an unstoppable snowstorm buried northwestern, central, and southern regions of the country under an astonishing 8 meters of snow. Entire villages, including Kakan and Kumar, were completely wiped out, leaving no survivors. Prior to the storm, Iran had endured 4 years of drought, leaving communities unprepared for such an extreme winter. When the blizzard hit, temperatures plummeted to -25 degrees Celsius, cutting off access to hundreds of villages. Even in major cities like Tabriz and Hamadan, residents were trapped in their homes, facing starvation and life-threatening cold. More than 4,000 people lost their lives, many buried under the snow or succumbing to hypothermia. Rescue helicopters managed to reach some affected areas, but in many cases, they arrived too late, finding entire communities frozen in place. To make matters worse, a flu epidemic that had already been spreading before the storm only intensified the humanitarian crisis. 7. The Great Blizzard of 1888. Between March 11th and 14th, 1888, a historic blizzard battered the east coast of the United States, from Chesapeake Bay to Maine. Heavy snowfall covered parts of New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, with accumulations ranging from 25 to 147 centimeters. Strong winds of 72 kilometers per hour created towering snowdrifts over 15 meters, burying streets and buildings. Before the storm, the region experienced mild temperatures and heavy rain. However, as temperatures suddenly dropped, the rain turned into a blinding snowstorm. In New York City, temperatures fell to -14 degrees Celsius, shutting down transportation. Railways were buried, roads became impassable, and telegraph lines collapsed, leaving major cities completely isolated. The blizzard claimed over 400 lives, including 100 sailors whose ships were lost at sea. The New York Stock Exchange closed for 2 days, and widespread fires destroyed buildings, with losses reaching $25 million, equivalent to $850 million today. In response, cities made crucial infrastructure changes. The storm directly influenced the construction of America's first underground subway system and led to the relocation of power and telegraph lines underground, making urban areas more resilient to future disasters. Climate change and the future of extreme weather. Many scientists believe that climate change is playing a major role in the increasing frequency and intensity of extreme snowstorms. Human-driven global warming is disrupting weather patterns, making cold Arctic air more likely to push southward. This shift raises the risk of more powerful blizzards in the future, underscoring the need for better preparedness in facing natural disasters that are becoming more frequent and severe. The most intense snowstorms in history serve as a stark reminder of nature's immense power. Despite advancements in technology, humanity remains vulnerable to the fury of extreme weather. This makes disaster mitigation, investment in resilient infrastructure, and global efforts to combat climate change more urgent than ever. Snowstorms are not just natural phenomena. They are warnings, urging us to respect our environment and take action to safeguard our future.